can edit any clip that makes someone look bad.
That too.
You can do
That's
that,
real.
but also I'm a good proponent of using Reddit and Twitter. Those are two things I never really used before, but those are some, like, people will say, "Oh yeah, this news source is biased. It doesn't show you exactly what you want to see." Bro, I've gone to Reddit and I've used Twitter just in this past year alone, and it has allowed me to see some like raw footage of everything. Like, I see clips from protests, or I hear news stories. Like, that's where I try to get most of my news from, because most of it is like, you can find the bias and the non-biased channels. Like, you can see it yourself, and you see, oh god, the cat's playing or something. You can see you can see these things kind of happening live, before it's edited by whatever media source wants to spin it in a certain way. One of the a clip that I saw with Killer Mike. If you guys know who Killer Mike is, it was during the George Floyd protests when they were, or it might have been, it was either George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, kind of happening the same, or definitely at the same time. It is equally as important, but Killer Mike was talking to Atlanta, and he was like, guys, do not burn your city down. What we really need to do is come together and, try to get this official out. We need to speak for our city. And, he was basically telling everybody to come together because they're not doing this for us. I went to Larry, I'm a partner. I went to his house and we were going to work on music, and ESPN was on. And the same interview popped up with Killer Mike, and it was literally, it was like a 9-minute interview that was originally aired. It was 2 minutes on ESPN, and they chopped up the plot points that made it seem like Killer Mike was asking for people to go crazy. And I was just like, this is bizarre to see. Like, it was bizarre to watch. And it was like, this is ESPN. This isn't CNN. This isn't MSNBC. It's where people watch sports. You're there to watch, you're there to get your scores. You're there to watch highlights. Like, why are they making it seem like Killer Mike, who's, a rapper and a political figure, is talking about Atlanta, don't burn your city down? That's all that he was saying on that. No, that's not what he was saying. They need to expand on what was going on, and they were, and it's not even a news source person. I keep doing this. This is going to be my thing all podcasts. I'm just doing this. It's not something that is a news source per se. It's just a place where people gathered to get different information, and that's what you're feeding them.
Yeah.
So I would say most people, it's hard to tell people always, hey, do your own research. But I would definitely say, go on Twitter and go on Reddit if you want to see real raw news, because you will definitely find raw news.
And then from there, you can put together your own perspective.
And you can find it on both sides of the political spectrum. Like, you can go there, and if you really want to see how the people in the QAnon or the far right versus the far left really think, you can go and go down those rabbit holes and see what's there. Like,
Right.
it's
Anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, there's literally a term for what he's speaking on too. It's in relativity with the control of information and familiarity, is being that you don't journey to places that you're unfamiliar with to find information. So like, they can kind of control and change the aspect, tweak it, whatever, and put it out in a certain way because they know that you will not go to any other sources to find it. There's like a term for that. I can't name it off the top of my head. I read about it in a book maybe 2-3 months ago.
Nice.
But and that's how like certain media and stuff is able to control, social media and change the way people think.
To add on to that, there's people that I think it's not the exact term, but they're basically spoon feeding people information that they want them to know. And one of the biggest culprits, like, it's funny that ESPN did that, and you also want to consider to the types of people watching that news. And it's probably somebody probably like the head of the company who has a specific viewpoint and sees like this guy, I don't like this guy because I have a certain viewpoint towards this guy. So let's just take a portion of his video and just like get the meat and potatoes of it. You know, we don't need the whole thing, and cut it down, and then just show that portion on their media site, and then whoever their target audience is sees it, they can be like, hey, they're out there burning down the city, or he just says don't burn down the city, but he's not talking about anything else. That's all he's talking about. And one of the biggest culprits of this, Fox News. Fox News. Oh my gosh. When Gio was talking about going down the rabbit hole, I've I've been in the rabbit hole. I've been on both sides of the argument. When something pops off, I normally go to like CNN or something like that. And then I go to like Fox News, and then I go to the further right, like One America News, to see whatever they're saying, and like half the time is like I want to make sense of it, and you know the way they kind of interpret everything. It's like they give out information that we already
with a
like,
they give out
especially
information with a lens on it.
yeah, with the no, like one example, and this kind of leading off topic. One example was like they were talking about COVID, and they were saying that COVID is it only affects a certain age group, and then they said there were people dying in hospitals from COVID, and then they had underlying issues already. What is that? So they're not dying of COVID, they're dying from their underlying issues. They were already going to die. We're like, no, we already knew this. They COVID was an underlying issue of the thing that they died for, whatever it was. Like they would have lived a lot longer if they never contracted the virus. And One American News is making it like, well, you see that the virus isn't really a big of a deal because the only people that are dying are the people that already had underlying issues. That doesn't make sense. They're trying to make some money. That's why they're doing it. And I'm just like, I said, dude, we knew this. We knew this like when this whole thing started, when the information got out to us. They put it out, but everybody that didn't want to hear it ignored it and said masks won't help. No, most of the masks that you wear doesn't help. It has to be cotton or the surgical masks that doctors were to wear. Those are the ones that are a lot more effective. But everybody wants to wear these like Michael Kors, Coach brands masks that they look good in, but it's like super thin so they can breathe easy.
Making that money.
Yeah, yeah, like they out there making that money. But
with the nose out, dude.
yeah, and then they rocking it with the nose out. Yo, I got my mask on. I'm doing my due. Okay, that's not working either. You got to cover your nose, and then
My math.
thanks to all that stuff, we got a whole new strain coming out. But that again, this is a different topic. But that's just another example that the news outlets use. Now, granted, the left side or like stuff like CNN and all that stuff, they're pretty biased too from time to time, but they're not as biased as other places. Like they try to at least remain somewhat neutral, even though they're opinionated. But
yeah, I'll just
yeah, go ahead.
whenever you're done, I'll just talk about some stuff that's on my mind.
Oh, okay. But like regarding the protests, is just like it's crazy. Like we have the protests like for George Floyd, and then we have basically the riot, what happened this past Wednesday. Like these guys are out there making up stories pretty much. They're saying, like one of the ones that I've read, they try to blame Black Lives Matter and Antifa on the whole storming the Capitol
makes
building
no
or the
sense.
Congress building. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. I was talking to Liggett the other day, and he was like, "What is the point of Black Lives Matter doing that?" It's like Black Lives Matter got Trump out of office, or not. Black Lives Matter got Trump out of office. America got Trump out of office. Like, there's no point for us to stop the process of getting them out. Like, what? How would that negatively affect the movement? How would it do that? There's no response. So, but Fox News wants to blame Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and it's like, oh, somebody,
Yeah.
everything was peaceful until
Which-
somebody led the charge, where everybody else just decided to follow, and then they threw their own people
Yeah,
under the
which
bus. Like,
again,
oh, good.
I'd like to add something if nobody.
I think he's mine.
got
Yeah.
something.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right,
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
so another thing to add in on the something you said earlier about burning and buildings and all this. Uh, I think like Tevin said, there's a lot of information that we don't know and that we need to like I don't know dive deeper into. I'm not gonna say I know every aspect because I wasn't at every single protest, right? But there were also groups of people, and it's noted and visualizers pictures of groups of people that were showing up that wasn't Black Lives Matter. They had their own agenda that was there, and somehow they all get tied in, so that way they can villainize the main point of the protest. This is like everything you say about Black Lives Matter. Like the main debate back to it is like burning, looting. That's not what it was about, though. That wasn't like the main part of it. People seem to villainize the main like the small aspects to avoid the discussion on the main topic. A lot of the times,
Mm.
it's just like if you're in a debate online and you misspell one word, then you're gonna get called all types of dumbasses, all this, and all it is really just a way to divert the attention from the main topic, so I don't when people go to that burning looting that I just don't personally I don't know which side to be on with that because I don't believe that wasn't all just the Black Lives Matter protesters. There was I seen a video of cops on top of their own car beating it, then you see these pallets of bricks. How would you not spot somebody
yeah,
walking down the street with a pallet of bricks like everywhere? That makes no sense. That's clearly things that we don't know. Some that's either planted or what I mean. So I on that topic, I'm kind of iffy on that because I don't believe that was all Black Lives Matter. I'm just
Oh no, well, it's not even that you got it. We know it's not because, like I said, Twitter, Reddit, like they give you the sources. There's people over here like, why are there bricks in front of an all glass building? Why is it a pallet of bricks? Who put this here? Why is it randomly here? Nobody's gonna fall for that bait. That's literally bait.
Yeah.
And I just kind of it kind of just made me so upset, and that's why I was starting to get to the point where I felt like I was leaning to that extreme level where I just like, Gio, I need to take a step back, calm yourself down, like think about this rationally. There's more to it than what people are saying is actually there. So when I have acquaintances that went to this Trump protest that turned into a rally or that turned into a riot. And they were just like, yeah, it was all peaceful. Everybody in Antifa was doing. I was like, you know how much red, white, and blue and real tree I see out there in that crowd? I'm over here looking at a stream of it and people are going crazy. I'm over here looking at Twitter, people going nuts. I was like, I looked at the whole thing, and as soon as somebody said, oh, it was BLM, I saw not one single black person in the crowd. Not to say all black people are BLM and not no white people stand for BLM or anybody else of any other color stands for BLM. But I was like, there's a big difference in your crowd that's going to show you or allow you to kind of gauge somebody's truth and whatever they're saying. Oh yeah, BLM is what caused people to break into the Capitol. They would have no reason to even be there. They wouldn't do anything.
No reason.
There is no counter protesters
to
Trump getting out of the office. There is if you're protesting for him to stay in office, nobody's gonna after the ruling is done, which he is out of it, there's not gonna be people on the street saying, yeah, get him out of the office. No, they're not gonna show up there because you know why? You're gonna target them. There was people, I remember seeing videos, and I even remember seeing it when I was actually out there. They were breaking open the water bottles, so, from the supplies, so BLM protesters couldn't have water to hand out. I saw videos of them washing people's eyes out at the Capitol. They were washing out the tear gas from their eyes. There's a difference. There's a major difference in how people are treated. And I'm not going to say it's all color of skin because, that would just be terrible to say. But
I want to tell you, overall, they were prepared to They were prepared for that protest on the Capitol. They got in, but they helped them as soon as they got out. I'll just tell you that much.
Yeah.
The fact that that you said that they washed the
Um,
water out of their eyes.
Yeah,
Come on.
Twitter, bro. Look,
But
I
I've
don't even
seen
use.
them letting them in. I've seen videos of people or a few officers letting the people in on the grounds. And then that there could be a story behind there. They could say, well, there's no point to stop them because there's only like maybe 5 of us. We're understaffed. So just let them in. Let them get what they want so you guys don't get hurt. That story could have been a thing. We don't know. We just know based off the video.
But that's a
And
reach.
yeah, that is a reach. that is a reach. But we also seen evidence of these cops that are supposed to protect the Capitol building, taking selfies, hanging out, busting it up with these guys.
That's not a reach. That's real.
Is it a reach? I feel like no, I feel like
That-
that was a reach.
that-
Like because
Nah,
you
that's not a
know
reach. That's very
that-
real.
that's something that they just wouldn't do.
They hit him with
Like just have evidence of a smiling Capitol officer with a rioter, like as he's breaking in. Stop.
Wait.